The narcissist who is in your life is not the all-knowing, all-seeing Superman or Superwoman that they put on to be. That's just a guise. They're faking it. The problem is they're really good actors, and sometimes, we fall for it and we think that they are better at their craft, if you want to call it that, or their talent, if you want to call it that, than they really are. They're just really, most narcissists that I know are really not that bright. Now, some of them are extremely intelligent, but by and large, talking about the ones in my life, they're really not, they really don't have their act together. I mean, if they were highly intelligent people, they'd be doing a lot better in life than they really are. And the fact of the matter is, they're not. They're not. So it seems that they have this one thing that they do really, really well, and that is grift. That is, they commit fraud. They take advantage of other people. So they have this one little narrow niche in life that they've become very, very good at. And so they have convinced themselves that they're just brilliant. Because, well, no one else seems to be able to do what they do as well as they do, when in reality, we all know that the reason other people don't do it as well is because others don't do it. In other words, most people are honest, at least to some degree. They don't just live a life of fraud and deception and trying to rip off friends. Most people don't make friends just so they can scam them. But that is the life, that is the mindset of a narcissist. So the point of that is they put on this air of being superior. Well, that's why we call them narcissists. They're just they pretend to be, or they pretend to be arrogant. They're really not deserving of the term, because they think they're better than they really are, and okay, maybe they are arrogant. I don't know, but the point of the matter is, this is all just a show. It's all just a fake. It's all just a stage performance, and we need to see behind the stage, behind the makeup, behind the stage costume, and realize that these are just typically not normal people. They're usually a little bit lower than normal people, and because of that, they are sometimes easily exploited. Now, I don't want to exploit narcissists, because when we do that, we become like them. But we can outsmart them. They don't know what you're thinking. Believe it or not, they are not mind readers. They may come across that way, but they're not, because they know that people have certain predictabilities. But then again, who is more predictable than a narcissist? Once you figure them out, you know what their next move is going to be, because most narcissists basically follow the same pattern over and over and over again. So we kind of know what they're up to. All right, so how are we going to outsmart the narcissist? Well, we need to realize, before we dig into these four things, we need to realize that, again, as I just said, they're not mind readers. They don't know what you're up to. So the first thing is this, and I did this personally, that is to create a past timeline. As I thought back to the very beginning, when I first encountered a narcissist, and what was it like during that love bombing stage? How long did it take? What did he or she do to convince me that he or she was a really, really good person? Well, one narcissist in my life, the love bombing stage went on, for years. It was a very long time before I figured out this person, well, before they made their move, because they were just... they're just a friend. That was pretty much it. They didn't seem to have any interest in taking advantage of me. But once they did make their move, it became very obvious within, I don't know, maybe 3 years or so. So I created a timeline, and it went back to those early years of love bombing, to the very first scam. Very first scam I can remember, this is the one that I can remember, is the narcissist and a mutual friend said they wanted to meet me for lunch. Oh, cool. Friends, let's have lunch, right? Well, I showed up for lunch. I think it was at a Wendy's or whatever, and there was this fourth person, this fourth individual, happened to be a woman, and it turns out the woman was having hard times, and she needed to borrow, I don't know, like maybe $150, $160, whatever. And for some reason, they put me on the spot in front of her. So I would loan her the money, which obviously never got paid back. But the point is, they saw me as a soft touch. They saw me as gullible and naive, and somebody who had resources, because by that time my business had started kicking into gear. And so, yeah, I had expendable cash. So they took advantage of me. I didn't think anything of it. I didn't get paid back. Typically, when you make small loans like that to people who are desperate, they usually don't pay you back. So I just kind of wrote it off, didn't think about it. Time went on a few months. I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but time went on a few months, maybe a year or two, and my narcissist called me up and said, hey, I got a business idea, a business proposition. They got these little bookend tables for sale that are, what do you call these things? Like, I think some guy would buy discarded goods, like if there was a truck wreck or whatever, I can't remember what you call that, and he would buy up the inventory, and he would keep it in a warehouse and try to find sellers for it so he could sell things in bulk. And he told me about this. You could buy these end tables, for like, I don't know, $10. And then he said, I will sell them each for $20, and we'll split the difference. You just put up the money. So, well, I'm not going to buy all of them. I think there's like 100. So, let's buy 10 of them, and let's see how it goes. So I put up the cash for 10 of them. What was that, $100? And cool. Yeah, he sold them. And that was the end of it. I didn't get my cut. I didn't get my money back. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3 was his son was stranded. He said, I don't know if it's true or not, his son was stranded in a motel, didn't have money to pay his bills. Would I mind wiring his son, who happened to be with his mother? I don't know if that's true or not either, which would have been his son's grandmother, somewhere down south. And would I mind wiring him $100? Now, you think I'd caught on by now, right? But no. So, yeah, we went to Kroger's, went to their Western Union or whatever it is they have, and I wired their son $100, which I never saw again. And there was scam after scam after scam. I think there were maybe a couple dozen of them like that, where I felt sorry for this guy. I mean, he was my friend. I've known him for years. He was struggling, trying to get along in life, which in and of itself should have sent up a huge red flag. But the point of all that is I went back and I wrote down literally, well, actually I typed it on my computer, on Notepad so I could save it. But I typed down, made notes, made a timeline of everything that had happened so I could refresh in my mind what this guy was up to so I could then see his pattern. And you know what? As I put all that together, I could see very clearly how narcissists work, right up to the point where, well, we found out someone did some doxing on him and found out that this guy had a criminal history. I mean, he'd been sued dozens and dozens of times. I mean, literally, I'm not exaggerating. Been sued dozens of times and been prosecuted a number of times for check deception. He'd been basically kicked out of every place he ever lived, because he wouldn't pay his rent. He had his paycheck garnished time and time again. I didn't know any of that because he kept all of this hidden. But the point is, number 1 is create a timeline. You have a narcissist in your life, you may want to do this. Sit down and create a timeline so you can see a pattern of how this person works, of how they live, how they behave. And if you get yourself in a tight spot, also give you some talking points where you have things documented. So that is one way that you can outsmart a narcissist, because they have no idea you're doing this. They have no idea that you are keeping track of what they have done. By the way, this is also a good remedy for ruminating. I don't like to ruminate. I like to forget things, get them behind me, move forward. And this kind of helps. Okay, I don't need to ruminate because I got it all in writing. I don't need to think about it and don't need to roll it over and over and over again in my head. Number 2 is this: go true north. You've probably never heard that expression before because, well, I just made it up. But this is my experience, 70 years. Almost 70 years dealing with life in general, too much of that wasted dealing with narcissists because, quite frankly, I'm a gullible person. I'm naive. I try to help people. I try to be nice, and I'm the ideal candidate for these people. So I'm sharing with you what I have learned over the decades, and hopefully you can learn from some of my experiences. And one of the things I've learned is to go true north. Now, what does that even mean? I mean, if I just made it up, I better explain it right. Well, what it means is you need to create a life compass. Do you know what true north is? If you have a compass in your car, have one in your pocket maybe, have one in your cell phone, that tells you where true north is. What direction do you need to go? Well, if you need to go north, you know where north is, but if you need to go south, you go the opposite direction, right? So it gives you your bearings. It gives you a sense of direction where you're going. So what is your life's true north? Where are you going? What is your sense of direction? Do you have a sense of direction, or are you just kind of plodding along through life? And I found that one of the reasons that the narcissist was able to take advantage of me, because I think I had this perception from his perspective that I was just kind of plodding along in life, didn't have any real purpose. And when somebody came along, a narcissist would come along, they would see that I had no purpose, that I had no true direction, and so they could easily take me off course because I didn't have a course. They could get me off the path, off the trail, because I wasn't on a path. I wasn't on a trail. I was just kind of like, if you ever gone hiking, just gone out wandering the woods. I've actually done that a few times, kind of fun, but you don't want to live your life doing that, right? So you want to know where the path is, want to know where the trail is. You need to know where the trailhead is, where the end of it is, where your life is going, which direction you are headed. So that gives you a sense of security, because when someone comes along and tries to get you off the path, off the trail, you immediately realize how dangerous this is. Now, in case you don't know it, catfishing is really a big problem. I mean, they say that people scam individuals through catfishing, which is a type of narcissistic abuse in a sense. Narcissists basically do the same thing. I don't know that everyone who does catfishing is a narcissist, but effectively, they're scamming people. They're grifters. They're frauding people, and they say it's bigger now than even bank frauding. People are just gullible. People are naive. Apparently, they don't have a sense of direction. So they take advantage of people like us. Maybe we're individuals and we're open to friendships, which I guess that's okay, right? But you need to have a sense of boundaries. You need to have a sense of where the edge of the path is, where the road comes to an edge. And if you get off the edge, you may go in the ditch, which is what happens when a narcissist throws you off. So you've got to go true north. This is my question to you. What is your true north? What is your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to build if you're a younger person, to build a solid retirement for yourself and your family and your children? And if a narcissist comes along and tries to scam you or whatever, someone doing catfishing, which most narcissists, they're there to scam you one way or the other. Is that going to throw you off your path, off your trail, off your direction? Yeah, it will. And that should make you hypersensitive when these people come into your life. By the way, when someone comes to you and asks to borrow money, the general answer is no. Now, if it's a close relative, I would make an exception, like my kids or whatever. By the way, they've never asked me to borrow money, but if they did, I probably would help them out. Or my wife, she's never asked to borrow money. Come to think of it, I didn't realize this before I just mentioned it, but I've never had anybody close to me ask me for money. That's surprising. They're always strangers, apparently people who don't love me, who want to take advantage of me. So if somebody you don't know really well, or somebody you do know really well, wants to borrow money from you to bail them out of this tight spot, it could be a good indication this is somebody who really doesn't care about you. See if they can't, if you want to help them, try to help them find another way out of their tight spot. Try doing this if you need $100, right? You need $100 to get your son out of a tight spot because he's stranded in a motel somewhere down south. Okay, get a part-time job. If the rates are paying today, man, you should have $100 within a week. So he's stuck in a motel for a week. That's really not my problem. That's his problem. And by the way, talking to my narcissist, what I should have said is if you had been living a responsible life, if you had kept your job the way you should have, which the guy had a really good job. He quit it because he didn't want to be controlled. So this is not my problem. This is a problem that he created. Why am I helping him bail out of a problem that he created? All I'm doing is reinforcing his bad behavior. Number 3 is this. This may seem to be a little bit surprising unless you've listened to other of my videos in the past, but number 3 is call his or her bluff by giving up. Just give up. I give up. I'm not going to fight with you anymore. I'm not going to contend with you anymore. So after the narcissist has love bombed you, got you into his web or her web of deceit, then they begin to abuse you, and finally you realize, okay, I'm not going to fight with this person anymore because it's gone from love bombing to fight bombing. Because they love to fight, they love to contend, because they love to trigger people. Now I just give up. You win, okay, yeah, but don't ask me for any more money, but I'm not going to fight with you anymore. It's over. So what that does, giving the win to the narcissist, is his perception, but that's not true. What you're doing is you are taking away his supply or her supply. We've talked about this, in other videos. But the reason they fight you is because it boosts their ego, because they are pulling your strings, like a puppet, they're pulling your strings. Every time you give into their fight, by fighting, you think you're winning, or at least you're taking a stand, you're pushing back. Actually, what you're doing is you're just giving them supply, boosting their ego, giving them exactly what they want. Well, what if you just give up? Say, okay, you win, bye. What they're going to have to do is go somewhere else because they can't take advantage of you anymore. Now, they will extend it as long as they can, usually through a smear campaign, and that gives them a sense of control. And besides, once they realize that you are going to be out of their life, they want to make sure that no one else listens to you, because they don't want other people feeding you information about them. What's more is they don't want you telling other people what they have done. So one thing I found that narcissists love to do is when they go through the smear campaign, is they want to encourage your friends, anybody that you know, or even remotely, they want to make sure that they don't talk to you. They want a clean, total, absolute separation, no communication whatsoever, if they can possibly pull it off. All right, so call that secret weapon number 3, is just give up. Say, okay, you win, bye. Number 4 is please stop trying to change the narcissist. I actually talked about this extensively in the video yesterday, so I'm not going to dig into it too deep today, but, the narcissist is preset. Yesterday I used the analogy of a washing machine, that, you put the water in, no, it puts water in itself. You put the clothes in, you put the detergent in, and you push a button. That's it. The washing machine is preset to do its thing. It goes through its cycles, and then it's done. That's what a narcissist does. He or she goes through cycles. They just do that. That's the way they are hardwired. That's all a washing machine ever has done. I'm kind of repeating what I said yesterday. But you got to keep in mind that you're not going to turn a washing machine into anything else. That's what it is. It's a washing machine. Okay, I know some people who have taken the tub out of a washing machine and turned it into, I saw one guy who turned it into like fire pit. So I guess, you could repurpose a narcissist, I don't know for what, but that's not advisable. But yeah, you get the point that they don't change. You cannot change these people. You don't want to change them because, well, it's a waste of time. So just get out of their life, let them go on, and if you can, warn others, but I don't even do that. I just stayed completely, totally out of their lives because they're going to keep doing what they're doing. I had to learn the hard way. Now I'm sharing with others what I've learned, and others may have to learn the hard way and share with others what they have learned. But ultimately, that is the way, in my opinion, to stop a narcissist. Click on one of those 2 rectangles that you see on the screen if you want the conversation to continue. If not, thanks for stopping by, and we will see you all next time.